Okay, welcome back for the next session of creating art over 70, and we're working on the Raven painting. Okay, so in this session, I think I want to try to start to work in the glasses. And as you see here on the reference, let's see if I can get it in with my hair out of the way. The glasses have a pivotal point here, and so I need to make sure I get this alignment correct in order for the glasses to flow, and then I need to be able to work in these circular portions of the glasses like here. I painted glasses in the past. However, I don't have a set approach to how I tackle each glass. So each time I sit down in front of a piece, it's a learning experience for me. I'm like totally learning all the time. And I have yet to sit down and do a piece that is exactly the way I just did the last piece, step by step by step by step. I guess what I'm saying is like I don't paint by the numbers. I'm not a okay, like I was saying, I'm not I don't have a traditional style, and when I sit down to paint, I let the the painting guide me. I listen to my heart and let my heart connect with my eyes and my hand, and I let the painting guide me. And I use the references for exactly that, just reference. But the painting itself is not a copy of the reference. It's my interpretation of what the reference is and what story I'm trying to present with the reference. I'm trying to dig a little deeper than what the reference has, and really paint and try to capture Raven. You know, that's the overall gist of what I'm trying to do. So in this session, I'm going to work on the glasses. I might not record laying out and you aligning the points what I'm going to use in order to draw or paint in the glasses and get the perspectives all done. I may not record that because I probably have to get in a little closer to the piece in order to do that, and so I don't want my big old head in the video when I'm doing that process. So let me get started on that, and then I'll come back when I really start to um, build out the glasses, meaning start to construct the glasses of the form, the shapes, and the glasses in the form of the glasses. So they'll actually look like glasses. Okay? So I'm gonna stop this here. Okay. So welcome back. Real quick, what I did while I was away, was I just lined in the glasses so I get an idea as to where they're gonna sit on Raven's face. So yeah, how I did it, how I went about doing it was I I started with making sure putting little points to where I thought things should be, and then like 1, 2.3, 2, 3, 4 points around the glass frame, and then I kind of just drew it in, kind of lightly, and then just kind of lightly put it in place. But what you should be able to see here is how how or I should say why I took so much time and effort laying in the anatomy, laying in Raven's anatomy, right? E- because I've seen some people paint where they'll paint and as they develop their painting, not saying it is wrong, I'm just saying this is the style I'm comfortable with, is I lay in anatomy and stuff underneath so that I'm totally, 'cause 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 I'm totally, understanding what's going on underneath what I'm laying on top. For example, so I laid in I wanted to make sure I got the nose areas laid in with anatomy and in this area and the eyes also. So when I lay the glasses on top, then I could see what I'm working with underneath, underneath the glassy area, for example, where there would need to be shadowing or something like that to bring out the form a little bit more. So I know what's going on underneath it in order to be able to be effective about putting the more of the details into the glasses, which is on top of the anatomy. So that's the gist of that one. Okay. So yeah, I had to raise the table up. I had to stand up to do this. It's like, ooh, it was pretty challenging. So because I had to get on top of it. So in the raised position of the table, I only raised it so high to where I have a down, slight angle down onto the piece, and so I'm on top of it, kind of like. Because of course I'm painting. I paint straight up. I don't paint leaning over a desk. I paint straight up so I can really see what's going on with the piece like that. Okay, Raven. So in the next session, I'll be putting a little bit more detail into the glasses, or I might lay in some more of the jewelry section. I don't think I need to stand up to get the jewelry section in because it's not within the golden ratio part of the portrait that I'm trying to capture here. So okay. Oh, if you remember, let me get my face out the way and get my head out the way here. So what I'm talking about here is this section right here. This one section right here. So, see, inside the ratio here, I could put as little or as much detail as I want in the piece, but this is the part where the greatest of the detail has to be, because that's the subject matter of the piece. And so I want to make sure that I really bring the viewer's attention to this particular area of the piece. So that's what I'm doing here. All right. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much. That's this session of creating art over 70, the Raven painting. Signed, Rufus. See you in the next session. Thank you. So terribly sorry that there was some technical difficulties. I thought I had the mic on when I was recording this session, but I didn't. I was just explaining what took place in the session for the painting. It was focusing more on the shadow areas in the painting, to try to bring out more form, like in the neck and in the ears and things like that. So, sorry for the technical difficulty. Once again, I will try to pay more attention in the future so this won't happen. Thank you for joining another session of Creating Art Over 70. Signed, Rufus.